Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris and Merry Christmas to you. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, then Happy Tuesday or whatever day it is you're watching this on. Let me know down below, I'm curious. If you don't know, on this channel I've been following along with the Chucky news, breaking down when a poster comes out, little snippets of information, plot details, really everything and anything you might need to know about it just because I'm a big horror fan, a lover of movies, and Chucky is one of them. If you do want to get caught up with it, I have a playlist on my channel or links down below to help you out and get you started. And for those of you who have been here from the beginning, just thank you. I really appreciate all the support, and I think by the time this video comes out, I've hit 10,000 subs. If not, this is kind of embarrassing to say that. And if I haven't yet, then hit that subscribe button, leave a like, comment down below. Let's grow this community further. We have until June of next year for this movie to come out, so there'll probably be a couple more Q&As coming up as we get closer to the movie and further plot lines are revealed. But without further ado, guys, just sit back, enjoy, relax. Let me get into some of these questions that you guys asked me concerning the Child's Play remake. And I'm sorry if I butcher your name, but I mean, it'll be on the screen so you guys can tell me the proper pronunciation. I picked out a few here that caught my eye that I think would make for an interesting topic, so let's go ahead and dive into these. The first question I got was from a user of the name Frost Final Form. I am a DBZ fan, so you got me there already. Do you think the doll will kill some of Andy's friends? And I have to say yes, or at least I'm hoping for that, because the producers of It, who are making this Child's Play remake, had a demonic clown bite the arm of an 8-year-old right off in the first 10 minutes of this movie. So yes, I'm hoping for kids to be killed. It's something that horror movies really don't do, but I mean, it paves the way that it's uncharted territory. And if you are able to do it, make it tasteful and not just look like you're going for a gore factor, you're gonna get bonus points from the critics with that, trust me. But I will be a little bummed out if we don't get at least one kid killed. I know that's probably bad to say, but I mean, come on, we're all kind of hoping for that. Next question is brought to you by Matthew Posada 28, and he asks, my theory is that Andy will not be as happy and thankful for the doll like the original. And that's a pretty good theory right there. I mean, like we've mentioned, times have changed, and especially since they changed Andy from like a 10-year-old to a 15, 14-year-old in this remake. Kids that age in modern time don't really want a doll half their size to play with. Even if it does have all these advanced technology features to it, kids have their phones. They don't really want to be messing with adults. So I can see what you mean by you think that it's something that could be gifted to him and then he hates it and mistreats it, and maybe that's why it goes bad. That's why it hates Andy and wants to kill him. But I can see that being a possibility if Andy gets this doll and he's like, what is this, Mom? Give me a new phone, okay? This one's cracked. That's a good theory, Matthew. The next question we have here is by John Hernandez, and he asks, do you think there will be more than one evil doll since they are connected to a network? I think that's a good question because I know for sure that Chucky will be evil in this movie, being that he's AI and will have a conscience and he'll know right from wrong. But the other dolls, like we speculated in a previous video, I'll link it down below or card right above me, that this Chucky might have an army of other little Chuckys. There's a robot doll, there's a Chucky doll of color, of different hair colors, eye colors. There might even be a female Chucky doll somewhere. And our guess is that he's going to be able to hack into those dolls and mess with them and make them follow his lead. I don't think they're all going to be AI and just follow him as sort of a Hitler of toy dolls. So on your definition of evil, no, I don't think there's going to be more than one evil doll, but I do believe that Chucky will be the only evil doll controlling these dolls that are absence of a conscience and are just following a blank order, if that makes sense. Next question we have here is by Lex Ortiz. He says, first off, thanks for the update. Well, you're welcome. Do you think they will have any cameos from the original Child's Play? You see, this is kind of the iffy part here because anyone who is still involved or even cares about the OG Child's Play, like we have Alex Vincent, the kid who played Andy in the original movie, he's technically currently working on the original Child's Play movies with a TV show, and he was just in their latest movie, Cult of Chucky. And I have to think he has some loyalty to Don Mancini and what he's doing with Chucky. So because Don Mancini isn't happy with this remake and doesn't like that they're using his brand and doing all this stuff with it, I have to think Alex Vincent and anyone involved in the OG Child's Play is most likely not going to be involved in this remake. Even as a cameo, as a bystander, a milkman or mailman, anything like that, I don't think we're going to get some sort of cameo. We might get small references, like a restaurant might be named Mancini, or just something very small in that nature hinting to OG Child's Play characters, but I don't think we're going to get an actual person in the movie as a small cameo, unfortunately, just because of the divide of what's going on between the two franchises. Next question we have here is Sean Kimmins. Do you think the doll was given to Karen and Andy for a more sinister purpose, or do they just get the doll by pure coincidence? Kind of like wrong place at the wrong time kind of thing. Would Chucky kill no matter what family he would have been given to? Or like I said, there's a deeper connection. I'm sorry, but jealousy is kind of a lame motive. Now that's a good question. I've had some people comment on my videos saying that this might be the motive of the doll, that someone is actually controlling it from afar. And since I made some theories that Aubrey Plaza's character, the mom Karen, is working for Castle Corporation, that she might be sort of like a whistleblower. I did have someone on Twitter Twitter. Thank you, Annalicia Sanford. By the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, go ahead and do that at 3C Film Review. You can send me anything you like concerning the Child's Play remake or any other movie that you want me to be updating you on and giving you news, and you might get a shout out like Annalicia. But she did point out to me, which is something I can't believe I haven't noticed yet, is the Castlin logo is basically an eye, and it matches the eye of Chucky. Bringing it back to that question though, is some people are thinking that Aubrey Plaza's character, the mom, is sort of like a whistleblower and has found out that Castlin is like listening in all these families, since they have all these products that are in your home, sort of like Alexas or your smartphones, your drones, that they're listening in on homes when they're not supposed to, gathering information. She finds this out, wants to go public with it, and they give her an evil doll to kill her. I think that's an interesting little theory. I don't think that'll be the case, but I do think there is something of a connection there with Castlin spying on people and it biting them in the butt and them having to cover up this whole murderous doll thing. That is a good little theory, but I agree with you, it's sort of a lame motive. Next question we have here is by Steven Anderson. He says, do you believe this film will have more of a Child's Play 1 kind of vibe, where you don't see much of the Chucky other than his docile state, or the gore until more towards the end, or will it be more of a right off the bat gore fest with Chucky killing right away? I'm gonna go off and say that I think it's gonna be more like the original Child's Play and sort of build up to it. I think the movie is obviously gonna start with this factory worker committing suicide and reprogramming the doll and all that, and then the parts after that will be us getting to know Andy, his group of friends, his lifestyle, why he might want this doll. Chucky comes into the picture, small menacing things happen, and then the final act should just be a bloodbath. At least that's my opinion. I don't think they're gonna start off hot and heavy right away. I do think it's gonna benefit if it goes slow and then a complete nightmare by the end. But that's just my opinion. You guys can let me know down below yours. Next question we have here is brought to you by Zach Pope. Now, he's a friend of the channel. He also has his own YouTube channel. You can check that out. He asked, do you think this will be a better made film than the other Child's Play films? And that's an interesting question to ask. Where do we think this film is gonna rank in all the other Child's Play movies? Because we've had our ups and downs with Child's Play. A lot of us agree that the first three are probably the best ones. And then we have a Don Mancini miniseries of Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky. Some people love Bride of Chucky endlessly. Small people love Seed of Chucky, but the vast majority hate it. And then we have Curse and Cult of Chucky, which are two films that I like as much as the first three. Even Cult of Chucky, I am gonna make a video defending that movie because a lot of you people out there hate it, and I'm surprised. But even though I say that, and as much as I love the second half movies, this movie needs to be better than at least Child's Play 3. So with everything I'm hearing so far, I don't know if it's up there yet, but I do think it cannot get as bad as Seed of Chucky, but it ain't gonna touch the first two for sure, in my opinion. The next question we have here is by Godard. I'm guessing the other kids Andy will be with in the film will get buddy dolls as well for Christmas or something. And that's an interesting point. Is Andy gonna be the only one in his group of friends that has a buddy doll? Is he gonna get made fun of because he got a kid's toy? Do all his other friends laugh at him and think, oh my god, why'd you get that? That's like for a 10-year-old. My sister has one of those. And this could lead to why Buddy goes and kills his friends or goes after them and protects Andy. Or could it be a situation of, like we said earlier, since Andy's birthday is on like the 21st to 22nd, he gets his buddy doll first and all his friends are waiting to get their buddy doll, cutting to days later when the doll has gone full AI on a murderous rampage, controlling the friend's doll against them. I don't know, I think there's a lot of possibilities out there, but I think at least one of his friends will probably have a Chucky doll. And if not, that's going to be probably a motive of them making fun of Andy for having this doll. The next question we have here is by Tony Gomez Jr. Does anyone think there will be a Tiffany in the remake series? Now, when you ask, do you think there's going to be a Tiffany, do you mean directly the character? If you mean directly Tiffany that we've had in the previous series, no, we're not going to get someone like Tiffany either in human form or doll form. Just because the franchises are so separate, and come on, a robot doll doesn't really need a bride to go with him. I think that's just where you charter into the silly territory. As far as a female version of a Chucky doll, yeah, I think that's most likely out there. As far as us seeing one and interacting with Chucky, I don't think so. I don't think they want to get anywhere near that Bride of Chucky vibe. So we'll just probably see it in the background of shelves and stores, or maybe if Chucky goes on and gets that little minion army like we were talking about. But no sort of Tiffany where he's going to fall in love and have a kid with. Next question we have here is by Mr. Krabs. Do you think Chucky would be able to switch bodies with other buddy dolls since he is AI? Now, this is another interesting thing because I have my own little theory on that. If there are other buddy dolls and all the other friends have one, or there's some in the stores, and the one that Andy has is the one that the factory worker unlocked to be full AI, I think whatever that factory worker did to that specific doll can only be done by that factory worker, and that's why he committed suicide. I don't think even as advanced as Chucky is, knowing he's AI and going all super smart, I don't think he can go around to other Chucky dolls and just start unlocking their AI, nor would he want to, because that would also be competition for him for whatever his plans are. He wouldn't want someone on his level being his competitor, if that makes sense. But as easily as Ultron was in the Avengers movie, where he was jumping from conscience to conscience in different robots, I don't think this doll will do that. I think there's something specific about what that factory worker did to him that keeps him from jumping doll to doll. I think if he wants to jump from another doll, he has to do something specifically to its programming, to his electronics, and I don't know if this AI is capable of doing that. Next question we have here is by Bipolar Express 121. Okay. I wonder if they're going to use a synthesized voice effect for the doll in toy mode. I like how the original Good Guy doll sounded like a recorded voice box. Like a pull string doll, but electric. Also, what if the different buddies' skin tones and maybe genders have altered voices? So this was the best phrasing I could find about the biggest question I was getting is, who do you think the voice is going to be? Or how do you think they're going to portray the voice of Chucky? Now, the biggest conclusion I could come to is, I do think they're actually going to get a person to voice Chucky. You have to remember, the reason the Child's Play doll in the original series had two voices was one, the voice recording in the doll originally, and then two, the voice from Charles Lee Ray into that doll. One was a child's voice, one was a man's voice. With this doll not having any other soul attached to it and it's just a robotic AI doll, it's going to stick to the programmed voice it already has in it. And that basically is the voice of a child. Because this doll is meant to be a friend to a child, so it's going to have a child's voice. So I think we're actually going to get some sort of kid actor to voice this doll, and that it's going to be a sweet, slightly menacing voice. So I think it's going to sound slightly robotic, but overall it's going to be the voice of a child. It's not going to turn AI and realize, hey, I want to sound like a man, let me just fix my programming and do that, if that makes sense. The next question we have here is by Rick Camarena. Do you think there will be an emotional or personal kind of trait for the doll, or would it be just like the AI killer, like Wall-E with AI bots but with emotions? Reading through the comments of all my videos, you guys just really bring up so many open doors that make me think of what could happen in this remake, especially since we don't have a trailer yet, and with it Christmas Day, if it came out already, yay! And if it didn't, that sucks, right? To me, one of the interesting things about the old Child's Play movie was that Andy had this loving connection to the doll, and by the end of it, he had to kill it. So I think it's going to be interesting if they play off that same sort of thing and have Andy love this doll. And even though it is killing, he still has this connection to it and has to fight with it. So I think they are going to do that again and have an emotional pull and attach itself to Andy in a loving way. Maybe the friends that Andy has aren't really friends. They're just people who make fun of you, be rude to you, and he just grows really attached to this doll, and when it comes to shove and these friends want to save Andy, it's going to come between the friends and the Chucky doll. If they just give it a robotic personality and it's like a walking Terminator, that's no fun, man. AI means it basically is a human. It can basically talk, interact, have its own personality. So yes, I do think it'll have some sort of emotional pull in the movie. Kevin Velasquez asks, what do you think about Chucky's look? Do you wish that he looked bad or good? Well, I mean, I always want him to look good, but I guess I know what you mean. Like, you want him to look menacing or do you want him to look innocent? One of my favorite looks in all the Child's Play series was the way he looked in Child's Play 2. When he's killing that teacher. Unfortunately, I don't find the stitches and the cut up Chucky to be scary because that's when the franchise went comedic. So I associate that look of Chucky as comedy, as funny. I don't associate it as being scary. So to me, on this Child's Play doll, I was fine with the first photo that came out. I actually thought it looked kind of badass. It has a porcelain doll look, innocent and childlike. I actually loved it. And then we get these leaked photos and all these other looks of what Chucky might look like, and I'm like, what the heck is this? So right now I'm caught up and I just want to see a full photo of what this doll is going to look like to make a full opinion on it, because right now I'm mixed. I like the promotional photo, but that's just half of a Chucky face, and these leaked photos ain't doing it any justice. Next question we have here is by Isaac Rahman. He asks, I don't know why, but I get a serious OG Child's Play vibe from what I've seen so far. I've got a gut feeling this movie will be amazing and surprise everyone. I usually dislike remakes or classics, but Don Mancini lost his touch, in my opinion. I haven't enjoyed anything past Bride. Anyways, thanks for the constant updates. Keep up the great work. And you know what? I'm slowly starting to feel the same way, Isaac. I'm starting to think maybe this film is actually going to be badass and it's going to surprise all of us. That some of us are going to even compare it to the original Child's Play, as shocking as that sounds. Everyone is always so quick to hate remakes, hate reboots, hate anything that touches their childhood. And while I understand that if this movie sucks, it's not going to affect the originals. We all saw what they did to Nightmare on Elm Street, that horrible remake. Did that make me stop loving Freddy Krueger and the old Nightmare series? Hell no, I just forget that remake happened and I still enjoy my Nightmare on Elm Street movies every Halloween. So remakes do nothing but bring in new fans and carry a franchise along for future generations. If they suck, they're just brushed away under the carpet and forgotten, man. No one ever talks about them, but the classics are classics for a reason. They don't go out of style. So I think you're onto something there, Isaac, and I do think it's going to surprise us all. Hopefully. We'll see what the trailer brings us. Next question we have here is by Agent 1. He asked, also, I never thought about it until now, but how will the doll stay powered? The good guy didn't need to be powered since it was possessed, but the buddy doll is not possessed. Makes me think. You know what? It makes me think also, because how is this doll going to survive on an AI processor? I can imagine that'll drain a battery quick, so I wonder if it's going to have solar panels, or if it'll just always be running to an outlet and plugging itself in. I do want to know what kind of battery is running on this thing, because if it's just regular double A's or anything like that, I'm just not going to buy that as a sufficient enough source. I'm not sure, but that's an interesting theory of how it's going to stay powered. The next question I have here is by Christian Venenson. He asked, what scene from the original would you like to have them redo for this movie? I know what scene I want them to redo from the original Child's Play, but I also want you guys to comment down below what you would want them to redo, because I'm curious to hear what you guys think. My favorite scene from the original Child's Play will always and forever be, I Google it and YouTube it almost every year just to get a good laugh, is the scene where Karen the mom picks up the doll, turns on the fire, yells at it and say, if you don't start talking, I'm going to throw you into the fireplace, and we all know what Chucky says after that. I love that scene. It makes me laugh every time. The Chucky personality was just right out of the gate from the first movie. So I would love them to have their own version of that, where it could be Andy holding a glass of water and he's like, if you don't talk or start showing your emotions, I'm going to throw this water on you. And then it says something the lines of the first movie. I would love them to redo that scene. The next question I have here is by the Kirk Chronicles. He asks, some people are calling this remake a cash grab only. Well, for a cash grab, they sure are being creative with their marketing. I have said this before, but Mancini kind of did this to himself. I respect how passionate he is, but the original franchise is on VOD land, and probably for good, sadly. A doll that could care less if you live or die is scary. I love your videos, man. Keep it up. Well, thank you, Mr. Chronicles, but yeah, I could see where you're coming from. I will still have all the respect in the world for Don Mancini just because he is the basic creator of Chucky and has carried this franchise along. Even if we didn't have Don Mancini around, they kicked him out a long time ago, guys. You have to remember, they still brought him back to write the second one, the third one, movies we like, Bride of Chucky, which some people still like. Okay, he really dropped the ball on Seed of Chucky, but he's brought it back up and he's trying to keep it going. So I respect the man, I like him, but I'm also very open to this new interpretation of the remake. And I mean, every film is a cash grab. The purpose of every movie is to make money. What I think some people mean when they say cash grab is that they think a studio puts a little effort into it, they slap a brand name, they put a basic plot, they throw it out to the audience and say, that'll make us a couple of bucks, and we didn't have to waste any time making it. All the marketing shows that this has been thought out, that this has been processed, that this is a long game they're playing out here to really hype us up for a good Child's Play remake. I think if this was just a cash grab, we wouldn't see all the amazing marketing that they're doing so far, and I wouldn't have videos to make every other day. The next question we have here is, what do you believe the motivation for the man hacking the buddy doll will be? And that is interesting. Why does it unlock its AI, and how does a factory worker who works on the production line of these dolls capable of doing this? It leads us to a bunch of questions that I hope we get answered, and it's not just something that the film throws at us and we're like, all right, factory worker, everyone in Asia is just really smart, I guess. Okay. What my thinking is this factory worker was maybe higher up in the Cashlin industry. Maybe he was a CEO at one point, or one of the board members, or one of the top engineers that made everything possible with Cashlin, making it a great company. He got screwed out of it. He got demoted, and now he just barely is working as a factory worker. This would explain why he's really smart and is able to make a simple doll turn AI, but it would also explain why he's so depressed to the point where he's like, this is my final creation, and I'm jumping off come lunchtime, guys. But I mean, then again, for a man who's about to commit suicide, he really doesn't need any motive because he's gonna kill himself and he doesn't care, right? But I don't think his motive was to have this doll end up killing a bunch of kids in Chicago. And that's all the questions I had that were interesting enough to make this video. I hope this was fun for you guys. I hope this was a good little present for you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm sure we'll do this again as the movie comes closer to release, maybe after we get a trailer and have more questions we want to ask. But as for right now, I just want to thank you guys for joining this community. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Reviews. Have a happy holidays. Don't get too crazy. And just remember, as always, I'm Chris. Take care.